Yeah, this is Team Endpoint's map pick, so of course I'm expecting a decent amount of depth from them on the CT side, on the T side as well. I have to admit though, the CT side was very solid. It was basic, but at the same time it was very solid in that regard. Jacob, it looks like he's going to be getting the knife in here, and exceL probably going to be switching. I'd be switching, I mean, especially with the T side that we had previously. Of course, the CT side might be working out for us a bit more, so if I'm, per se, exceL, switching on the CT side, why not? Let's get a fresh start. Let's don't think about the map previously. Let's try to win this one out because pretty much you're playing best of one at this point.
And they will start things off on the CT side. Smart choice from exceL. Get themselves together on their defensive line because when they were on the CT side and overpassed, it wasn't looking half bad. So keep that momentum rolling into Inferno, and maybe we might have something to talk about right here. Endpoint are one map away from booking their place in the finals of Barcelona. It's the pistol round on Inferno. A single bit of utility. The flash, smoke, and the HE grenade on Imi and Stan apiece. Kevlar for everybody else on the T side. The defuse kit double flash out for Windansky. Everybody else has default pistols. Everybody else has armor. It's in towards Banana, straight in for the Endpoint side. Two players going to lock out a crossfire. They will hold back for a couple of seconds, and Lazar will get aggressive in mid. But outside of that, exceL not going to see a whole lot of Endpoint. Boaster will finally chime on. Two nice headshots. Alex and Stan go falling. That's a 3 vs 5 already. Lazar hearing footsteps right behind him in mid. He's lurking. Mighty Max has no idea he's here. He'll tap him down, get the bomb control for the CT side. Backup coming in. Thomas can't quite get the frag, and Lazar will be able to land that headshot for it. Jacob coming in with a kill, locking down Endpoint. exceL, the start they needed on the pistol.
Crisp clean shots coming in there from Boaster. I mean, from Banana, actually able to pick up those two frags was very crucial, I'd say, for the CT side. Very nice start for them. That was clean. They end up losing, well, not losing a single guy. That's going to be a pretty decent start, I'd say, for the CT side. They might just need some sort of good start. Once you get that good start going, you might be building up more and more rounds. You might get that momentum going. That's what I'm hoping for from exceL Esports, to just be able to show us a bit more, because in Overpass, we barely got to see them. Surely we got to see a decent amount of them on the terrorist side of Overpass, but on the CT side, barely.
So opener for exceL. Of course, going to be buying down into the SMGs. Endpoint not getting that bomb plant, so they will go in with the Force by CZs and P250s. No Deagles this time because they are playing much more close range on B site. Not going to go down for the A mid pick. Almost a good incendiary grenade if it didn't land in the smoke, but it does get extinguished in the end. And when Windansky and Jacob will be left to clock out the crossfire, Alex does get a kill. But there are only 3 T side players left with backup on the way from the CT side. Windansky does fall, so there is that much going for them. Weber should be able to mop things up though. Stan and Imi down a very low amount of HP. So when this peak comes in, Imi should fall. 3 players left to retake. They do get a bomb plot though, so that's that much for Endpoint. We'll be able to give them a bit more of a bolstered buy in the next couple of rounds when they do have their rifle up to play with. But for the time being, it's exceL locking out their conversion, 2-0 to the CT side.
Yeah, in that regard, they're able to get that bomb plant. I'd say it's pretty good here for the Team Endpoint side. But of course, especially if you're going for a force buy like that was a full-on force buy. You want to try to win the round, because otherwise the force buy wasn't really necessary. I mean, sometimes you could even get a bomb plant with the pistols themselves. They did do a decent amount of damage on the CT side economy, which I guess you could say is pretty good. That's pretty good there from Team Endpoint, but now it's going to be a full-on eco. Well, except for those 5 Deagles being purchased right there, so they're going to be having that Team Endpoint, but still, exceL Esports should be the ones closing this one out. That's what I'm thinking. Luzza and Jacob, this is aggressive from the CT side, and even though this aggression seems to be looking quite good, Team Endpoint are expecting something like that as the Deagles are coming through, and the Deagles are coming through indeed. Imi with the frag, but with Dansky holding things off, and now Mighty Max, he does have the Deagle in hand, and, well, looks like they might have done a bit more damage on this sort of eco with the Deagles than they did on the round previously when they had a bit of a force buy. So I guess that's pretty good for Team Endpoint. And to be fair, though, Mighty Max, we've seen him clutch. Oh, and he has won some of those clutches. Could this be one of them?
Got the bomb on his back, making his way in towards the A-apps. Boaster will be here, and he will spot him down before Mighty Max can make that work. But you know, as you said, with the basic pistols, those Deagles able to shut down several players from the exceL side means that they will have to reinvest quite a lot of their money, especially with this AWP coming out from Lazar. This will be quite the setup here for exeL. They will keep that FAMAS on Boaster, try to get the value out of that weapon as is needed. Meanwhile, Endpoint, of course, in with their bite. 5 AKs, full sets of utility on mostly every single player. Not for Thomas, though, but that's all fine. Endpoint into the mid area, into the B banana position. They have a slightly better setup, I would like to argue, with the AKs in play. They don't have an AWP, but one-shot headshots count now for this T side. exeL will get quite aggressive, try to see if they can shut this one down, and actually Endpoint will set up quick into the A bomb site. Boaster's trying to cut off the rotation, trying to cut off these players, trying to take down these teammates. Does get Alex. AWP from Laza watching out from the other side, on the site directly. Weber also on top of the box. It's a 5-on-4 so far. They make their way back around towards the long side, and Weber is watching this. The CTs have all this information together, especially with Windansky's position, and they will be watching on through the AWP of Laza. Does eventually swing back around with damage being done by the likes of Boaster and Weber. Laza getting the frag. Windansky gets one as well, and it leaves it all on Imi in pit, trying to see if he can recover anything for Endpoint, but it looks like exeL will lock this down. A clean sweep, barely any damage done. A 4-0 for the CT side.
There we go, that's much better from exeL Esports. Getting a very good start here on the CT side of Inferno. Also, pretty much winning their rounds without losing a single guy means they've already, well, take a look at Boaster, he's pretty much got around $10,000. And to be fair though, Team Endpoint, I'd say they kind of screwed that one up. They were fast. Yes, that push was reasonably very fast there from the terrorist side, but the problem is, once some of the utility has been deployed from the CT side, they kind of back away. They're just afraid to go for those sort of pushes. Take a look at his push from Weber. Aggressive as hell, but he's still able to get free frags. And, well, they might just salvage an M4, but I don't think it's going to be of great use, especially as Laza will be taken down in me. So Alex is now the last man standing, and this seems to be like another clean round here for none other than exeL Esports. 5-0 lead, and, well, they seem to be a bit of a more better CT side team than in comparison we saw them on the terrorist side of Overpass.
Yeah, much better showing from exeL. Kind of a bit more of a testament to how Endpoint side off their CT side on Overpass. 5-0, and if it's anything like that CT start on Overpass, exeL will be looking at 7-0 to kick off Inferno. What a way it would be. Endpoint up to their own buy up here. Max loss bonus, of course, so they've got no reason not to. And look at this, Thomas already peeking down in towards that middle area, second mid. Shuts out Boaster in apps. It's a great start, and the CTs need to try to find a trade right back. Jacob will get aggressive for it, but Windansky is the man to find it. Gets him to a second kill, so loses a lot of HP, but manages to turn a 3 versus 3. Now exeL have a bit more of a defensive line, but look at where the T side are going. In towards A side. Only one man there to hold Laza. Fortunately, he does have the AWP. Just needs to make sure his shots are on point.
And they might just beat. There we go. Gets the first frag onto Imi. And the thing is, he's already in a pretty decent position, I have to admit there. The op in a very good spot though. Now the bomb has been planted. I'm sorry, what? The bomb has been dropped. In fact, it has been dropped. Mighty Max though, gonna try to clutch this one out. I mean, he's been good in the clutch department. He has been reasonably good, but the thing is though, the timing is of the essence, and this might, well, to be fair, might kind of work out here for Mighty Max. He's gonna try to go for the wraparound here towards this A bomb side, and Laza, he might just try to peek middle. Oh no. Oh, this is gonna be weird. This is gonna be awkward. All of this is gonna come down to timing though. Mighty Max playing this one to perfection, but the thing is, he has been spotted out now. Of course, Mighty Max will be planting the bomb into the A bomb, so he's gonna be putting himself in a reasonably close post-plan position, and, well, Windansky, 20 points of health. That's not a lot.
1v1. Good catch off from Mighty Max, looking for that knife, but he'll be happy to settle with a kill. Eventually, Windansky will wrap around and get himself the 3K and shut him down close edge of the smoke as the Molotov came back, looking for that AWP as well, dropped down in the boiler position. Windansky gets away with 20 HP and a defuse on towards his back, just 6-0. exeL dominating Team Endpoint. A very, very good start towards this CT side, and again, this is exactly how they wanted it to go. They will force Endpoint. Well, I mean, they got a bomb plant, so they have a bit extra money to work with after the loss bonus, and could see them forced buy right here. Yeah, they're going to be going for it. AK's coming out, maybe an AWP if Mighty Max wanted to drop it, and yes, he will drop it out towards Imi. Full sets of Kevlar and helmets, but Not the same can be said about the utility. The T-side will still try and break exceL here.
Yeah, that's not bad for the terrorist side. Especially as they were able to get a bomb planet. They're on that maximum lose money bonus pretty much every single time whenever they are on the maximum lose money bonus and are able to plant the bomb. They're going to be able to pull off a buy, AKs at least, at the very minimum. AK-47s with those armors. Bit of a lack of utility, you could say though, but Stan will be opening things up here towards Banana. That's very good for the T side now. Flash coming through. Windansky will probably go for the P, but he has been blinded by his teammate's flash. I'd be angry if I'd be Windansky now. There is still one more player towards Banana, but already this is looking very doable for Team Endpoint. 5 versus 3, I'm pretty sure they'll take that any day of the week.
A nice double peek as well. That flashbang from Loza just unable to save his teammate. It more hindered him than anything else. As Stanley locks out the crossfire, gets himself a triple kill in the entry for Team Endpoint. A 5-on-2 situation. This should be around on the board for the T side. We'll still wait. This default is still in effect. They haven't decided to commit just yet. And they've got time, of course. Boaster, the only man holding down A. He is held back in a corner. Just hoping to see if they cross out. Just shut down low HP players. He will be able to take down Thomas at the very least. So one man down, a 4 versus 2 now. But he's been tagged up pretty hard. And Mighty Max will look on through. This should be his last stand. And he will end up falling. A site open for business. And the bomb is its customer. Getting planted all on Weber. But he's probably going to be saving at this point. 1 versus 4. Less than likely, especially on an A-site retake. So he'll hold back towards the new box. Try and see if he can pick off some T-side players. Do some damage to the economy of Endpoint. Because, you know, this could be a reset round. So if they have to reset, reinvest back in towards it, just means even more money troubles for the T-side. However, for the time being, they will get their first on the board at 6-1 to the favor of exceL.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense for Weber to go for the save. I mean, I don't blame him. You know, he goes for the save here, and his team will still be having a pretty decent investment when it comes down to the 8th round. And also, I like this from Team Endpoint. Even though they know this is a 4 versus 1, possibly Weber is saving the op. They are themselves not going for these sort of engagements, as they themselves need to build up a bit of an economy, you could say. It's not looking too bad here, but I think now if Team Endpoint still end up losing a round, they might just be able to scrap a buy. But for the time being, I'd say both of these teams are reasonably happy with the engagements that they did have the round previously. Of course, Laza will be having that sniper rifle in his hands, Imi with a sniper rifle of his own. So it's going to be interesting if both the operas going to try to go for some sort of engagement. Imi seems to be making his way towards middle. Problem is, Laza is towards Banana, so no such op engagement will be happening for the time being, though. And the thing is, though, Laza already getting tagged down quite a bit, so he has to back away. He has to take a bit of a more passive role. And this 3 players towards Banana. Now we're seeing only 2 of them. Looks like rotation is happening as a push towards the A bomb site is very much likely. Imi with the first frag, Thomas again with the frag. So now the bomb will be planted without any sort of issues. Jacob, though, this push, though, scary and very, very aggressive from him. Surely could have waited for his teammates. But now Laza and Windansky, I know the call, and it is try to go for the save. Surely if they're able to get some sort of frags here, some exit frags, that'd be good for the CT side, but right now, just trying to save those rifles. They're going to be of great importance, I presume, in the 9th round.
And our round just kind of fell apart at the moment. Loza peeked down mid and peeked down Banana and couldn't find anything. Bit of a shame as well, because that opening pick would have been great for exceL to shut down Endpoint and reset them here in this round, but as you say, not likely now. Saving the M4, saving the AWP. Players will get tagged low to Endpoint, but sadly no follow-ups can come through from the exceL side. Have enough money on Boaster here for him to force play. It will be quite difficult for Jacob and Windansky, but maybe a couple of dropped rifles could still force the issues together for the CT side as they try and get their play back together. It actually looks like it could be a fully fledged force. This will be their last time that they can do this. His Endpoint now starting to stack up some money on their side, starting to whittle down the exceL side's reserves. Full sets of utility Kevlars. Couple of helmets here, but not on everybody. That's fine. AKs are in play for the Endpoint side. As once again, they will go for a peek down Banana, but not find anything. It's Endpoint making their way into the B setup. Mighty Max, of course, leading the charge with flashbangs in. Alex trying to find that opening. He's the bomb carrier. They have got Stanley, of course, lurking over on A. exceL just receiving a little bit of information on Jacob and Windansky, spotting out bits of utility that are getting tossed up towards that top banana area, but eventually they will wrap on through towards their sub. Very passive in the back of the site, watching and waiting for the cross to come in from the T side, but they are still in default mode. They've got a minute to go. They've got time to play with. Haven't found an opening pick. They've got actually kind of received more damage towards their side, so small advantage for exceL. See if they can maybe work off of this when the defensive has to go solid.
Yeah, especially by the default they're playing right now. This pretty much going to mean that the player's going to have to hit their shots. Leza with the op. He's got the sniper rifle at reasonably close distance though, Stan. He might just try to go for this peek here and the op might greet him. So the thing is, I think we're going to be seeing somewhat similar setup we saw on Overpass, where pretty much the majority of the players will be moving towards one part of the map, and you have this sort of a human decoy towards the other. So now, so the human decoy is not going to move in first, it's going to be the players, the majority of the players pushing all the B bombs, and Mighty Max with the frag. But he has to realize there's still another guy in the form of Jacob. He's doing some damage here, but now he's in fact picking up a kill as well, and he's kissing pretty much Imi right there. And the thing is, Jacob doing all the heavy lifting. Stan in his sort of flank is pretty much useless at this point. The timer has ran out. 6-2 is now going to be 7-2. Team Endpoint. Well, that was really satisfying, I guess you could put it at that.
Unable to deal with Jacob, that's the main problem. He held back, he held passive, he waited for the perfect opportunity and he capitalized on it. Team Endpoint losing 3 players to him. Of course, that means that exceL make their way up to 7, as you have just stated. 4 players staying alive as well. So well played from that B-side defensive, and that forces Endpoint into a forced buy. 5 AKs out for the boys in yellow. 4 sets of utility out for most players as well, as they go once again back in towards this B-set default. Not so aggressive, as they realise that could all fall apart very, very quickly, as it is the same 2 players on the site, Jacob and Windansky on B. Ready to set up, excuse me, set up the defensive, and indeed they will spray through the smoke and find the first man. Mighty Max does chime on right back, and Imi does shut down Jacob this time. 4 versus 3, favoured to Endpoint, and smoke on across towards the CT spawn will eventually allow that bomb to cross into Coffins, get planted, set up the retake, but it's a 3 versus 4. exceL may have to fall back. They may consider the save right now, as Weber hasn't been able to find anything so far. Endpoint on the B side, locking it out. exceL will save. It will be a 3rd for the T side.
Yeah, Team Endpoint, they're doing a pretty good job here at the moment. I have to admit, though, sometimes these fast pushes from their side work out beautifully. They sometimes end up without losing a single guy, but sometimes they also get, well, I've got to admit, pretty much annihilated. Like we saw a push onto the A-bomb side a couple of rounds previously on the B-bomb side, but now it has worked out here for Team Endpoint, and they're doing pretty decent in the money department. And exceL Esports, even though they're going for the save here, the majority... yeah, they might actually drop for some of their players. Yeah, Jacob could be purchasing an... or if he does wish so for himself, Windansky will be given a drop. And this puts exceL Esports with another lifeline here on the CT side here on the very first half here on the second map. So, let's look with the op. Haven't really seen him, you know, be aggressive, so to speak, with the sniper rifle towards Banana. Yeah, he went for some of those peaks, but on the A-bomb side, that's where he has been playing for the past couple of rounds. So, and he hasn't been, well, so to speak, he didn't really have any sort of impact, you know. With the op, he needs to have some sort of impact, and he might just have one right here as he does takedown stand. That's a good opening for the CT side. And Leza, that is nice to see the AWP to come into fruition.
Yeah, opening pick for the man. Finds it for exceL, and if they can shut this round down, then that's a very, very good victory for them, resetting Endpoint once again. And the bare bones basics of this T side. Trying to bring some sort of solid advantage to exceL to hopefully lock out this CT side as well. If they can get this 8th round, then that's perfect from them. Any more after that will be a bonus. 1 minute still left on the clock to go. They found the opener. The T's are still in default mode. They have got the bomb in second mid. We'll wrap back away in towards Mexico with Imi, of course, covering that angle off. Looks like Team Endpoint are going to go for B side. But been relatively successful with it. As Thomas and Alex will be the men leading the way. Alex in particular. Back here with the bomb on the back of Mighty Max. little bit of utility to be using right here, and they will go in for it. Molotoving out key positions, but they will push back on through with a counter incendiary coming in from the CT side when Dansky takes Thomas out of the action. Counter flashes coming in from the T, trying to enter on through, checking a flower pot boost, but not checking down the new box. Mighty Max and Alex eventually lock out 2 kills to the 3 versus 2, but it's a 3 versus 2 to the favor of exceL. Weber, however, does fall to Alex as finally he turns the man advantage to evens. 10 seconds, the bomb has to go down. There's no smoke on the cross of Lazar Peak now. He could deny the bomb plant, but isn't able to get there in time. Molotov does hit the fountain, does leave Mighty Max pinned behind a pillar, and Alex up on a boost spot, now making his way back in towards Dark. Spots the first 2 players, he sprays on one, looks for the second. Mighty Max connects a kill on towards Lazar. Close, but no cigar. exceL will get shut down. Endpoint will make their way to 4.
Yeah, that was very close. In the end, you have to admit, you probably were thinking, you know, exceL Esports, they should be the ones claiming this one. But when you saw the frags going in favor of Team Endpoint, you had that 2 versus 2, you're thinking, they should be the ones picking that one up. Unless Laza is able to get, you know, him peeking through that cross, him able to get a frag with the AWP, then you're thinking, okay, exceL Esports might just have a chance to close that one out, but Endpoint doing a very solid job. At least 2 of the players were pretty much able to single-handedly win that round for the team. So of course, it's still 7-4, and in this sort of scenario where exceL Esports have to go for a bit of a partial buy, I guess you could say eco, Team Endpoint, they can definitely extend the lead at this point, and that is something they could use on this terrorist side of Inferno. It's not looking too bad here. You know, them, if they were to pick up 5 rounds, that'd be pretty decent, I'd say, on the terrorist side of Inferno. Of course, there will be still the CT side. It's going to be interesting to see how they perform on that CT side of Inferno. Weber is in a pretty peculiar spot. Won't be getting a single frag, though. That's a bit satisfying, as some players, they've definitely got some very nice highlights from playing in the angle. We saw Weber, but Boaster and Laza, at this point, they've only got the CZs to play with, so they might as well try to maybe pick up an exit frag, maybe try to go here towards Banana. Looks like they're going to try to do so, but Imi is holding out position. He's waiting, and Endpoint, looks like they're going to be having a reasonably clean round here.
Yeah, 2 versus 5, not a winnable situation for exceL. Didn't really go into much with this round, so they just had the pistol upgrades and no armor, not a whole lot of utility if I remember correctly. Should be a 5th for Endpoint. Lazar and Boaster will lock out the crossfire here at T-Spawn, try to see if they can catch one of the players exiting, see if they can recover one of those rifles, take it away from Endpoint at the very least. And yeah, Alex will peek in towards Lazar's angle. Lazar will shut him down. Unable to recover it though, sadly, as Imi will just count that particular spot. Boaster might swing out, might look for that second frag, and yeah, he will land the headshot anymore at this point. Will be damage to the Endpoint economy. Lazar eventually gets caught up from the other side as Thomas takes him down. So 3 players will stay alive. Team Endpoint will be allowed to build their economy, but it has kind of spiraled out of control. $10,000 on Mighty Max pre-buy. Everybody else should be able to buy up here for the T side. exceL, they themselves have a 3-round loss bonus in effect. So the AWP, the 4M4s will come out, lacking in the head armors department. And of course lacking in the utility as well, but decent enough round here for exceL. This could be a buyout that could force the issue. They will actually put more players on towards B, since Team Endpoint have managed to break that B defensive so solidly ever since exceL were able to hold it themselves. So that is where Lazar will not be going. He'll be holding on towards the A side, but that's where the other 3 rifle players will be holding. Alongside Boaster on the A side is where Lazar will be, as the Endpoint once again going towards this default. B centered. Imi looking for an opening frag when Dansky here to catch him off guard, and if he finds it, ooh, spots the shoulder peek, backs off. Information gathered, not by much, but they've got 3 players to defend B, so if the push came through, they should be ready for it.
Yeah, and beforehand, you get to see exceL Esports from the very get-go, putting 3 players towards the B bomb site. But the thing is, oh, Windansky though, that's nasty, that's dirty from Windansky. How on earth could you even expect a player to be there? Surely, I mean, he could have guessed correctly, and the guess was right. There's a player right there in the smoke. Might as well hit that mouse one and get the frag. Now, Imi will be trying to get a frag here. In fact, it's Stan helping him out. And we still know there's a player towards the side. And still, he has been taken down. There's still a 3rd man. But the thing is, Weber, he's so far away from the action, has been smoked off. There's nothing much Weber he can do. He could use the backup of his buddy CTs, Boaster and Laza. They might try to go for this one, but Weber, as I'm saying, at this point, he still needs the backup. He still needs his, teammates to help him out, get some sort of frags here. Otherwise, if no such frag will happen in the next 10 or so seconds, probably back away. back away if you're exceL Esports, and in fact the call has been made. They're already backing away, and I'd say that is the right call. So exceL Esports, they try to go for the adjustments. They put free players towards the B bomb site from the get-go. Beforehand, we get to see them put free players onto the B bomb site, but then one of them would just rotate away back onto towards A. Now they put free players towards that B bomb site throughout the entirety of the round and still aren't able to hold. Well, exceL, gotta admit, that was not a very good hold there in the end, and Team Endpoint making the scoreline even more equal than it was before. Imagine, exceL Esports, they had a lead of 7-2 now, and now it's 7-6. Endpoint making it possible.
4 rounds in a row so far for Endpoint, forcing the issue away from exceL, and of course them saving means that they can force buy, but it is weak. 2 FAMASes for Jacob and Wendansky, and Wendansky doesn't have any real utility, or Jacob doesn't have any real utility either. It's just a single decoy grenade, so not a great look here for the CT side. They need to find a round as well, because Team Endpoint have now brought this lead within 1. 7-6. Round number 14 coming up to fruition as exceL will decide to leave the B site alone. They're putting a gamble, hoping that Endpoint instead decide to sell for the A site. They've hit B many rounds in a row so far, and it has worked out towards their favor. And look at this, they will go for it one more time. The AWP of Lazar this time is here and ready to frag. If he can find the opening, that'll be a great start. And indeed he peaks just as Alex does. Perfect timing from him on the CT side, opening things up to a 5-on-4. Endpoint will hold back for a couple more seconds, but as they do, Mighty Max will start to push up with the bomb on his back, get caught off by Wendansky on the flower pop boost. AWP from Lazar wrapping in from the other side of Coffins. Weber does fall, but Lazar chimes right back. Close range on Thomas, close range with a quick scope, can't quite get it, and the bomb will go down. Poster, Wendansky, Jacob up for a retake. Wendansky's really close right here in the church position, and he'll wait for his teammates to come up and support him before he makes his move. 2 players to go. Molotov's down, trying to flush out positions, but I don't think that landed right. The fuse kit, of course, on Boaster, but he's going to fall very quickly. Jacob comes up with 1, Thomas comes back with another, and Wendansky has just enough time to get this defuse. Even without the defuse kit, he will net the 8th round on the board for exceL. 8-6, but even then, they have been pretty much crushed. Their economy has been left to naught, and Team Endpoint can still force buy back into the next round.
Oh yeah, definitely. Take a look at their money. They've got a lot of it. Money is not the issue here for Team Endpoint. It might be a bit of an issue for exceL Esports, but even they are able to make it work for what is worth. Lazar will, not only that he's got the sniper rifle, but he will also be able to purchase up armor and even utility. If, yeah, looks like it's going to be a technical pause here for exceL Esports anyhow. 8-6, that's not a bad scoreline. I mean, it's pretty decent, I have to admit, but they can still extend the lead. That is in the realm of possibility, you have to wonder. But Team Endpoint, I'm liking the fact that even though, as I mentioned earlier, it was a 7-2 scoreline, they're able to climb back through round after round after round, winning gun rounds. That's the most important part. They haven't pretty much throughout the entirety winning these gun rounds. I think they might have won only one anti-eco, which they were in. You know, that was when the exceL Esports were on a bit of an eco and Team Endpoint, well, that should have been a walkthrough, and that was just the case. But I have to admit, like, these gun rounds are looking very solid for Team Endpoint. These pushes on the B bomb set as well, and some of the rounds here have been relatively close, so this is still very much a close game. Not to take away anything from exceL Esports, but Team Endpoint, you know, looking solid here on the terrorist side of Inferno. I'm just waiting to see what's going to be happening on that CT side of Inferno, really.
If it's anything like Overpass, then this might be a very good map for Endpoint. This is their pick. You imagine that their CT side might have quite the amount of a strap pull here for Endpoint. exceL have made good on their CT start, though. They've done much better than they did on Overpass, which is exactly how you need it to go right now. Quick tech pause for exceL as it looks like he's ready. So here we go into the next round of the matchup, the last round of the half. Endpoint going in with the 5 AKs. The AWP will be out for Lazar for the exceL side. And Lazar himself has been fragging pretty nicely alongside Wendansky, the 2 main men for exceL, showing up to be huge. They need to be even bigger in this round. It's the last round of the half, and 8-7 is a very good scoreline for a T side, especially if this is Endpoint's pick. Then suddenly there may be trouble ahead for exceL. Would be nice to lock out a 9-6. That means that pistol becomes, well, becomes a very, very valuable asset to have for the T side. In the default of Endpoint, bomb on the back of Stanley, makes his way in towards second mid, and Alex will be the man to take point in towards the apps position. The T's looking in towards the angles of the site, hoping to catch off a CT player. And so far, very little will be found. exceL have 3 players on the B site, and for the once, Endpoint looks like they're going to be setting up for A. This is perfectly read. Loza will rotate back, but as they come on through, it looks like it may be a little bit too late. Endpoint ready to hit the A site. Loza on the opposite end. This does not look good for exceL.
Yeah, it's not looking good. It is not looking good, though. Imi, he's still waiting in the sort of position as I was probably thinking he might deploy the smoke. This might even caused a lot of confusion within the ranks of the CT side, but apparently looks like this is just going to be a good old push onto the A bomb site. Luzza has still got vision, very good vision in fact, and even though the push now commences as he has been flashed, Molotov smoked off, he tries to go for the frag, but he's not successful. To be fair though, the push is commencing and the terrorist side is doing a wonderful job though. Weber with the frag, not a second one at it. Luzza, he actually tags through there. Imi, that was so sick, but at the end, that is not the frag, that is only the tag. Now the bomb will be planted, free versus free. Looking quite doable here for the CT side, but the thing is, they have to hurry up. If they do want to get this round in their favor, they're gonna have to hurry up. It's also a good thing that they've got the utility. Molotovs as well, smokes, they can smoke off and Molotov the positions of where the CTs, pardon me, the terrorist side is playing at. But the thing is, they're stalling. They have to hurry up now. The push does commence. Imi, that's a great frag. A second frag and even a third frag for Imi. Great hold from the T-side player. Pretty much winning that round for his team. 8-7. That's a good scoreline, I have to admit, for Team Endpoint. I don't know how exceL is feeling about this one.
Yeah, I have some doubts. Of course, Imi with a 4K in that round. Holding it down for his team. Been with Endpoint for almost a full year now. Down to the double flash smoke here for Windansky. And then, of course, with the defuse kit for the Endpoint side. This CT side looking to be something special. They will surprisingly stack A and leave Alex the man to defend the banana push, which exceL looks like they will go down in their finest tag. Great dig on towards Alex, and Jacob will start to push. The CTs will wrap back around, and actually with the presence that Alex is taking, even though he hasn't fired off a single shot, will still come up and probably wrap into the defensive. Mighty Max is the first man to fall as Boaster shuts him out of the action. exceL still going to reconsider their options as Stanley does peek on through. The flashbang perfectly does not catch him as Windansky will fall to the next headshot of 4 versus 4. Endpoint getting players tagged left, right and centre, and the T's make their way into the A bomb site. Thomas in towards Pit though, shuts down Jacob. Luzza makes his way on through looking for Imi's head. Weber takes out Thomas and Imi should eventually fall 3 versus 2 now. Bomb will get planted. Boaster is on 1, but Alex is on 7, so it's not really a good look here for Endpoint in the pistol. Stanley looks on through. Luzza spots the smallest of pixels, but unable to land the headshot. The bomb is now ticking. There is no defuse kit for Endpoint to work with him. He has fallen. And they will wait. They will look in for any T-side player that wants to show themselves. Luzza's got the perfect angle on Stanley. And well, Alex has got 7 HP. Will be able to get the shot on towards Luzza, but Weber's close range here on a site. Should be able to flick him down. Should be able to take the pistol. The 9th round on the board for exceL Esports.
It's nice to see the terrorist side actually picking up 2 pistol rounds on this matchup, you know? Sometimes they say that, oh, you win both of the pistol rounds in Counter-Strike, you have a pretty good chance of closing out the game, but sometimes that is simply not the case. Sometimes it is not the case, because when you think about it, you are able to pick up with what you could say 6 rounds, but even then, that's a question mark. You have those 4 spies, you have these sort of anti-ecos which you have to hold off, so now exceL Esports, you're going to be having a good start on the terrorist side. Maybe that's something they also needed on Overpass, a good start, which, to be frank, I didn't really get to see now. Team Endpoint are going to make things a bit more difficult here for exceL Esports. Team Endpoint have got a bit of a force by here, except for Imi. I presume he's going to be buying an AWP when it comes down to it, as he has not made an investment of the P250, but of course he's keeping around $1,000 in the bank for that big green gun. And now still the scoreline being 9-7, exceL Esports this is still doable for them, you know? This is still a pretty close scoreline. If they're able to break through, if they're able to, you know, secure the two upcoming rounds, they might just make it more tangible. After that, pick up the gun round, you make it even more better for your terrorist side. But of course, beforehand, we have to wonder how this round will turn out to be, and it's pretty slow one at that. None of the CTs, none of the T side players are going for these sort of very aggressive aggro peaks or anything like that. It's just very slow, very passive CS from both the sides.
Yeah, they'll take their time. exceL don't want to give the game away. Never mind, Stanley doesn't need any information. He can just spray through the smoke and still take down Wendansky. Jacob does try and restore order to the situation as the B split from Speedway comes into effect. exceL wrap their way on through a quick rotation to the A site, and the bomb will go down on B site. Thomas and Stanley, I mean, you know, not really much left for them in this round. Just save the Kevlar and save that SMG. Stanley at least having a little something to work with in that next round. 10 rounds on the board for exceL, relatively understandable, but you gotta give credit where it's due. Stanley able to get that kill on towards Wendansky, spraying on through the smoke. It was a bit of a lucky shot. Does put a bit of a dink for exceL though. Not too huge a dink. They're not gonna be worrying about losing an SMG, but still, money is money. And exceL kind of need to get it started. They need to get a bit decent economy built in towards this T-side half if they do not want to lose this 2-0 to Endpoint. 10-7. T-side exceL in the lead. Endpoint still have a CT side to go. This next round should be an eco, where we can get into our rifle round and really get into the meat of this second half.
And you have to wonder, in a scenario where Team Endpoint is actually able to hold off that push towards Archway, you could kind of imagine a scenario that Endpoint might actually be ending up winning that round. You know, to be fair though, two of the players are taken down towards Archway. The player on the B bomb side is sort of dazed and confused as he's just jumping around the barrels. He was probably thinking of rotating, but then the players from Banana itself push him. So of course, in the end, that's a round for exceL Esports, not to take anything away from them. Endpoint on a bit of an eco here, except for the players like Thomas and Stan, who were able to survive the round previously, the encounters they did have. And, well, exceL, this should be another quick and easy round for them. That's what I'm hoping for. But before that, I guess we're going to be seeing there a bit of a slower style of play. Look at the utility usage towards Banana. This is nice from exceL Esports. Of course, you have that utility. Best case to use it is, well, to use it. Some teams tend to purchase it up, but don't use it. That's very heartbreaking to see. Wasting that money in the utility that could be using. It's nice to see exceL actually putting those Molotovs in practice. Now, they might just make the scoreline, again, 11-7 at this point, because, I mean, Team Endpoint, you take a look at them, they don't really have a lot to offer here. Now, do they stand with the SMG? You have Thomas with the CZ. He might just get a frag here if possible. To be fair, though, he might just be able to do so. In fact, does take down Jakem, but there's still players towards Apps themselves, and he should be spotting out one more player there. He does, in fact, not the third frag for him. That would have been too much, I'd say. The bomb has been dropped towards the A bomb, and it has been recovered, and it should get planted, though. But Alex with the frag, his CZ is doing some work here, and now it's a 3 versus 2, which honestly is looking quite doable for the CT side, but now they have to get the frags here. Wendansky, 8 points of health for him. That's not a lot. That is not a lot, and they have to hurry up the CT side. The lack of the fuse kit could be hurting them in this round, and they honestly don't have a lot to lose here. So of course, try and go for this one. They are trying to go for this one. In fact, it's gonna work out, or will it? Or will it though? In fact, it will. Alex with the Mac 10, the Mac Daddy, if you will be coming through, and he will get the defuse. 10-8 though. That's a close affair and a pretty heartbreaking loss for exceL.
They needed those conversions and all. Endpoint getting a very, very good round out of the hat, and AWP getting brought up by Umi, saving his money, and now it will pay off. SMGs to play with as well, up against the exceL side, but exceL have enough money in this next round to buy anyway. Yes, they're down to single loss bonus, but the bomb plant plus the money they built up means the AWP and the 4 AKs can come through. Limited on the utility, but that is fine. Enough for a setup. That's maybe all they need to go for right now. exceL into the default, once again into the passive-aggressive style of play, looking for an overextension on the Endpoint side, but already grenades doing a lot of damage to the likes of Jacob and Weber. All they need to do is find a good angle to spray through, or maybe even another grenade. They have one more left. That's on Stanley. If he lands that at Jacob's feet, then he's out of the action. He's out of the match. He's out of this round in particular. So far, exceL not finding that pick that they want. Luz are still looking down mid, and Team Endpoint will only put aggression towards top of banana, not going to go down towards mid, not going to start pushing in towards this T-side territory, as Jacob will find out by peeking on through. Good flash, but it flashes out his own teammate. MyMax is still blind, tries to line up players, and they spray through the sandbags. Boaster does take him out of the action eventually, but it took too long. Imi's here, ready and waiting to fire the AWP's first shot in this round. 50 seconds, smokes down on the cross, smoke down in towards the back of the site of Dark. 5 players on the T-side, ready to push, and Imi will finally strike, finally take down one. Alex does get Alex does get a lot of damage onto one more player, but Weber able to take him out of the action. A 3 versus 4, Molotov pushing the TTs away. Bomb goes down on the B site, planted for Coffins. Retake from Endpoint, 4 versus 3.
And I have to admit, even though some of the... Oh, okay, now it could be somewhat doable here for the CT side, especially getting that kill there. Oh, pushing through Windansky. That is not supposed to happen there. That push, that peek right there didn't make a lot of sense now. They do realize where Boaster's at, and they do realize where Luz is at, as he is firing off the shots. They have to hurry up on the defuse, though. They don't really have a lot of time to work here. Luz, though, will be getting the important frag. And I don't think... Thomas? He has enough time. Or does he? This is going to be close, though. He might... Oh, yeah, he will. He will get it. Or will he? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And that was very close indeed. I was a bit dissatisfied to see that, you know, the 3 players from Banana, from the CT side, they weren't able to do a lot there. Now that was a pretty interesting setup. You had a player towards sandbags, you had a player backing him up, but the player towards sandbags, as he was trying to throw a smoke, he had been pushed by the T's, and that was, well, one of the ways that he got overwhelmed, and the push consecutively comes up onto the B bomb site. Reasonably nice try from exceL, but a bit of a misplay, I'd say, from Windansky. That peek right there, unnecessary to say the least.
Luz are absolutely tragic for him, man. AWP trying to fire through the smoke, but just couldn't find the angle. Push with a P250, or found the bomb diffuser, but just one player alive with 3 HP. Not even needed the defuse kit to try and stick it down. Endpoint bring themselves within 1 now of exceL. exceL will go in towards the B site once again here, but they should get locked out by the rifles. MightyMax sprays on 3, going mighty ham in this round. Alex will get 1 Molotov kill on 1 player. That leaves Windansky alone, 1 versus 4. Flashbangs out, spray coming in from Thomas. Nice, clean, easy. It will be 10-10. Endpoint will even up the scoreline.
Indeed, for the first time ever, the scoreline has been evened up, and we might actually be seeing, for the first time ever on this map, Team Endpoint even come out on top. The reason being is that exceL Esports are going to be on a bit of an eco here, to be exact. Not a full-on eco, we are seeing the investment in some of those pistols, but I have to admit, we might actually be seeing Team Endpoint now in the lead here, and that's a scary prospect for exceL Esports. Surely that's going to be a very scary prospect, especially if they're not able to get a gun round going in the 22nd round, and Team Endpoint might be on the brink of actually running away with this one. Now exceL, they've still got something to work here. That'd be the pistols themselves. They're going to try to go for this push, but it looks a bit Imi doesn't have any sort of backup, but it looks like he doesn't need the backup. He is the backup, and he is the shooter as well. Now, of course, you do have the remaining T players. That'd be 4 of them. They're going to try to wrap around Imi, though, not firing off the shot. Should have pressed mouse 1 there, but apparently, I'm not sure what happened right there. Stando is holding his own. And in fact, this is still going to be a reasonably good round here for Team Endpoint, as well as exceL. exceL dropping 2 of the CTs dead, and that still leaves a bit of a dent in the CT side economy. You have to wonder, though, exceL Esports, they are on the sort of brink to actually even break the CT side economy. That is possible, but in order to do so, I think they're going to have to win this gun round. If not, well, like I said, Team Endpoint could start to run away with this one, as we are hitting the sort of scenario where every single round counts here in the second half.
Endpoint taking away a crucial lead, and you know, it is pretty much as you said, every single round from here on out counts. Endpoint are dangerously close to that 2-0. exceL could be going out before they get their chance to shine. A very good CT side, but it might not be enough. Only 2 rounds scored in this half for exceL. Pistol and 1 conversion. Not even able to get the second one, and now they've got an AK buy up to try and fight back against Endpoint in towards Apps. into the default, trying to look for a pick, and he was just a push straight up. Boaster and Weber peek out. Stanley will go down. Molotov does fade as Laza tries to flash his way in towards the pit position. There's one player on the site. That's Thomas. He sprays on towards one, but Weber trades him right back out to the 4 versus 3. Jacob gets the bomb down and leaves it up to Ibi, Mighty Max and Alex. A lot of damage getting done, but when Danski's got the flank, he's unable to get the kills on the players. 2 versus 3, and he does get 1 frag back, and when Danski able to take out Alex, low HP on the AWP for Endpoint. Mighty Max also getting sprayed down by Weber, just peppering him with bullets. 2 versus 3 though. Endpoint might want to consider the save because this was very, very unlikely to win, and indeed they will do so. They run back away, they save the AWP and the M4. exceL by themselves the opportunity, back in 11-11, evening the scoreline against the Endpoint side.
And it looks like they're going to be getting another lifeline here, exceL Esports, and that's a good thing if Team Endpoint is actually able to save their rifles, which apparently seems to be just the case. They are going to be able to get another buy here because Amy and Mighty Max can drop their teammates. Alex could use that drop. Thomas has been able to purchase a rifle of his own, and well, the scoreline is looking close. This seems to be a very close affair here on Inferno. The thing is, though, again, both of these teams are lacking quite a bit in the money department. exceL Esports, if they end up losing this one, they might have to eco, but as I say, so Liza, Boaster, Weber, they've got a decent amount of money they might purchase for themselves, and the remainder might just go for them good old pistols. Hard to say though, hard to say. exceL Esports is going to try to take some map control here. And to be frank, they're going to be taking apps. And that is good to see. Having that apps control early on could be very good for the terrorist side, as that just gives them a bit more options to work with here. It's just the CTs haven't really seen neither of the CTs on the half earlier, on the half here, trying to fight for that apps control. It really hasn't been that contested, to be honest. Now, 11-11. Still very hard to say who might come out on top here. Just a bit of an exchange and fire here towards apps, but definitely not the most amount of damage dealt. But take a look at the setup from the CT side. 4 players, in fact, 4 of them. A lot of faith, and I mean a lot of faith has been put in onto Alex. And the thing is, it's going to be interesting to see if he can land the shots.
AWP, Alex looks on through, shuts down Windansky to open things up for Endpoint. Also spotting out so many T-side players, going to call in a rotation. Mighty Max trying to go ahead and back him up, try to see if they can make their way into the B-side defensive. exceL, meanwhile, will set up the hit. It's going to be smokes in. Molotov's down, trying to push them out of position, trying to get them in the open. Jacob starts to enter alongside his teammates. He looks them towards the coffins area, but can't quite land a spray on a drive-by shooting. Thomas trying to put some shots down range as well. And the bomb does go down. A 5-on-4 situation. Weber lines up the spray straight through the smoke, taking down Thomas. Almost took down a second, but it does end up to a 4 versus 4. Stanley, meanwhile, out towards Banana. Sprays down Boaster, 56 HP. He gets away alive, though. And Endpoint are currently pinned away from the site still for the retake. Bombs ticking. Boaster, another blind shot through the smoke to take down Ibi. The AWP is still looking, and Laza getting Stanley means that Alex and Mighty Max are looking to save. Alex caught off guard, though. The AWP will drop, and Mighty Max will fall all the same. Endpoint shut down. exceL get 12.
Okay, there's something I have to say. Apparently it looks like that most of the important kills happen through smokes. You know, we get to see exceL Esports pretty much winning that round on the back of, you know, getting the initial frag for the smoke. They're getting another frag for the smoke. That's already a 3 versus 4, putting Team Endpoint in a disadvantageous position. From a 5 versus 4 to a 3 versus 4, that is not good for the CT side. And in fact, this is also not good for the economy. They're going to have to go for an eco, and where I said the Team Endpoint could be the ones actually making through here, well, I might be mistaken. exceL Esports, they themselves are doing a splendid job at this point. Looks like the push will commence here. They might just save an AK-47, and even that, you know, saving that rifle wouldn't be a bad of a prospect, I'd say, for Team Endpoint. Save the rifle, keep it within the next round, and they might just even go for AWP investment here if Imi or Mighty Max decides to go for that big green gun. They could go for it. exceL Esports is going to make it 13-11, and this is where things get dicey, have to admit, very close. And it's just a matter of which team will be able to prevail in these next coming rounds, and I think we might have already a pretty clear understanding of which team could come out on top.
3 versus 4 though. Not really much left for Endpoint in this round. No armor. Just leaving it to Stanley to save that AK-47. Rest of his teammates will fall. So extra kills on the board for the exceL side. 13-11. We'll start to lock down this matchup here. If they can just keep this going though, they could still take us to map 3. 3 rounds in a row puts Endpoint on 3 rounds of loss bonus. $2,400. Have a big, decent stack of money for it as well. They've got that AK saved on Stanley, so a little bit extra firepower, a little bit relieved investment. Should be seeing the full buy come out with defuse kits, with Kevlar. A couple of helmets here and there. A pretty decent amount of utility. Not the best, but still not that bad either. 4 AKs in the AWP, of course, on the side for exceL. It's Endpoint. Good defensive, good CT side to kick things off in the half, but has kind of fallen apart as exceL have managed to find ways to counter it. And going towards their default once again, in towards second mid, in towards middle. Apartments control being gained by Loza, but no one from Endpoint is really defending this angle. Also, the rest of the T side, it looks like it's going to be a quick A hit right now. Smoke down from Loza. Flashbanging his way on through. Quick hit coming in from exceL. Straight round the corner, straight in towards the site. Stanley will go full into the hands of Wera. Thomas is still here. He still drops one. Almost dropping a second on towards Jacob, 17 HP. And when Dansky is looking at the angle on long, takes down Alex. A 4 versus 3 situation as the CTs just crumble on the defensive. Thomas is still here though. He's still going to drop Jacob. He's still going to turn it to the man advantage to the favor of Endpoint. Bombs down when Dansky needs to get his pick. Needs to get the second on in, but down to 1 bullet. Needs to reload, needs to back off, leave it to Loza. Try see what he can find, and the AWP of Imi will punish him for it. The bomb will get planted up to Windansky in a 1-on-2. Smoke down, trying to get some sort of cover on the site. Beacon back around towards Shop. He spots Imi, spots down Mighty Max, trying to spray on through. This will be a 4K clutch for him. Spots him, sprays, damage done on both sides, and eventually Windansky, with only a few bullets in the chamber, will be able to find the 4K clutch on 4 HP. exceL Esports make their way to 14.
Yeah, that was, I have to admit, that was a very close round there in the end. I'm not quite sure which T-side player actually jumped up there in the balcony that allowed the C to get the frag, but of course, Windansky getting that clutch, and what an important clutch at that. It keeps his team alive, and well, maybe even more than alive. They might even actually be able to close this matchup here, and if they're able to close this one out, we are going to be seeing the 3rd map in the series, and well, I'd say that's only a matter of time at this point. The exceL Esports, they could very much do so. Team Endpoint, a bit of a partial buy here from the CD side. Not the full investment, which I do like. They are still going to try themselves to hit round 15, and to be fair though, that's obviously a possibility they're willing to take. Team Endpoint, they try to go for the stack here, but now one of the players has rotated back towards the B bomb site. And the thing is though, Team Endpoint got those CZs, and those CZs in close quarters combat can be very lethal, but Boaster's AK could be as lethal as any of those CZs, but it looks like Boaster doing a pretty good job at it. But now Mighty Max and Alex, not expecting too much from them, and Alex, he might just be getting the single frag here. A second one in that. That's actually pretty good there for Alex. You have to admit, drops the bomb, but that's about it. Mighty Max, what more can he do in this scenario?
He's going to try go for the retake. He hasn't got a lot to lose. Max loss bonus in this next round. exceL Esports make their way to map point. Looking down the barrel of a 3rd one. They will bring the series back potentially. We'll go to Cobblestone for like the 2nd time tonight. 15-11. exceL still up for an opportunity here. They will buy down. Of course, money is built for this T side. Endpoint going in for their own buy though. Have to go for it. Could be their last round. Need to win 4 back-to-back, 4 in overtime if they want to stay in Inferno. This is their map pick as well. Molotov down, Luzzert going to get forced in towards the corner, but still peaks, still shuts down him. He still looks for the 2nd man, Alex. Looking it down, Banana trace through the complete blindness of a smoke. Shuts down Boaster and takes Luzzert out of the action as well. 4 versus 3 situation. And 3 T-side players remain. The CTs spread thin. They're still at a man advantage. exceL don't even know what to make of that. They just had 2 players taken out, basically blind. 1 minute and 10 still left to go right now. The bomb will make his way up towards mid. Back of Jacob. Weber behind him when Wendansky in apps. They'll go for the A side hit. They have managed to make this work in the last few rounds. 1 minute to go. Let's see if they can do it again for exeL to close it out. Alex gets Weber. Not a good start here.
Oh no, it isn't. Jacob and Wendansky still gonna try to make things work, but now it's all up to Jacob. And now make him, well, not anymore apparently. That's gonna be another frag here for Alex, and he has been a crucial part of this round. A crucial part of the Endpoint puzzle, as he was able to pick up 4 kills in fact with that sniper rifle. So I'd be, if I'd be the CT side, I'd probably be giving him that op back in his hands, but it looks like Imi is gonna try to op again. So 15 to 12 now. I mean, Team Endpoint don't really have any sort of lifelines here. It's exeL Esports that, worst case scenario for them, they've got overtime. Team Endpoint, not so much. They have to try to win every single round from this point onward, and to be exact, that should be 3 rounds in a row. Though Luza, this is aggressive from Luza, but the thing is, he's not able to get the frag. Those spots out the players, I'm pretty sure of that. And this buy here from the CT side, it's definitely not looking, not the best, not the worst, but occasionally they try to make this work, with the buys like these. It's kind of worked. Okay, what on earth was that? Imi, he actually tags down Weber there.
Little leg shot.
How does that happen? Yeah, I think that's a leg shot. I think if that would have been a body shot, he would have been dealt more damage. But I have to admit, like, some of these kills, like, through smokes, wall bangs and whatnot, that's, I guess, the unique part of UKCS.
Yep, welcome to the scene, my friend. Hope you enjoy your stay. 15 to 12 at this point in time. Endpoint, slight advantage above exeL, at least in terms of the health right here. And this could be the round that breaks the exeL economy and all. T-side into Banana, 5 players here. Boaster starts to push up when Dansky setting up a smoke alongside the rest of the T-side players. They're looking to run straight in towards the B side, and look at the rotation that's coming in. Alex will go ahead and join them. 30 seconds. exeL only need a good round. Good flashbang from Endpoint does force them back for a couple more seconds, but the Molotovs come on through. Flashbangs, the smokes on towards the cross, but Mighty Max is still on Flower Pot boost. Will still shut down the first. Jacob sprays Mantley to try to shut him down. Imi towards the back of the side where the AWP takes out, and all of these kills just going to the favor of the CT side. It's all Jacob on 6, 10 seconds to plant the bomb, and 40 to try and fend off a retake from 3 angry Endpoint players. Will get the bomb plant, but nothing more. 13 rounds on the board for Endpoint.
I guess you could also say the bomb plant is actually pretty good for them, that they actually get the bomb plant. You take a look at the money from exeL Esports, and it's looking reasonably dreadful. But now, as they've lost this round, as they got some of that lose money bonus, as they got some of that money from planting the bomb, now they're able to actually cope with a pretty decent buy, to be honest. I mean, it's not going to be the best buy, no, or it might just be. The Galil and Wendansky, it's a bit of a dissatisfying factor from him, but I mean, you take a look at the utility, and they've got plentiful of utility of those grenades. It's not the biggest of issue here. exeL Esports, I think it's really going to come down to frags. I mean, on the terrorist side of Overpass, we have seen them heavily relying on these frags. On Inferno, they've been reasonably successful at getting the frags, but these past couple of rounds, though, not so much. I have to admit, not so much indeed. Team Endpoint have been doing a pretty good job at it, and, well, the comeback, it seems to be looking more and more likely here from Team Endpoint. Of course, they gotta hit overtime, and if they want to do so, they're gonna start hit some shots here. Let's see. Pushing towards the A bomb site is exeL, and the first one is standing at the frag, but he has been taken down there, Thomas. That's a bit sad for him, and now Stan is on the bomb site itself, and his teammates timing in with kills again. And now it's all up to Luza, 1 versus 3 though. 39 points of health. The bomb is dropped in the middle of the site, and it's just a difficult prospect to be in. He's lurking through that smoke, through the shadows as a ninja. But now he's in a awkward spot towards Graveyard. I think they don't know where he is though. I guess that's the saving grace here for Luza, but he's gonna have to peek at one point or another, and oh no, has to peek now as the Molotov has been deployed, and now it's 15 to 14. exeL Esports, they've got barely any money in this round. This could be the round that Team Endpoint can win, and in that regard, they might make it to OT.
Just when you think it's all over, just when you thought exeL might be able to close out this map, Endpoint fight back with 3 more rounds. A 4th one looking likely as well, as you said. Not a lot of money here for the exeL side. AK, UMP, a Deagle and 2 CZs. Scattered utility, scattered armor. Some people with helmets, some people with not. And exceL go in towards mid and second mid, trying to see if they can get a bomb down, try and see if they can set up the site. 3 players on A to receive if they do go for this A setup like they have done for many rounds in this T side half for exceL. Round 30, last round of relegation. We either go to map 3 or we go to overtime. What shall it be? Smokes down, flashbangs away. The same setup that exceL have tried with Luzza on the utility play in apps. They head their way out towards the long side. It's Imi to spot them, takes them down, but does get traded back by Weber. Meanwhile, Alex here in Archway, spotting out Boaster and sprays him down at 12 HP. Molotov forces him to go around the other side, and Jacob gets caught off guard. That's the bomb dropped. Huge victory for the CT side, but now they need to wrap it on through. They've pinned them all here. exceL are caught out in CT spawn, and Stanley has got this whole thing on a lock here in Library, looking around the corner, spotting Weber, spotting Luzza, spraying them both down and leaving it up to Boaster, the last man, 1 versus 3 and 12 HP. Does think Mighty Max, but Mighty Max gets the kill. It's overtime. MR3 10K. Endpoint will force the issue.
Yeah, that was a pretty dissatisfying situation in which exceL Esports were in. I mean, they were stuck between a rock and a hard place. I mean, they couldn't really go towards the B bomb side as there was already a player who has rotated from B towards that CT spawn. Also had players on the A bomb side themselves that were pushing towards CT, and well, exceL Esports, they just got stuck in this very, very hard spot, and coming out of there is quite difficult. But now it's overtime. I mean, that was the worst case scenario for exceL Esports. Well, it just happened. They've hit overtime, and that's the best case scenario for Endpoint. They've hit overtime as well, so you gotta be wondering. You're probably thinking that Team Endpoint, on the momentum-wise, on the mentality-wise, they're feeling quite good. That's what I'd be saying. It's just exceL Esports, how well are they going to be able to cope with the loss they had previously, and now with this sort of fresh start here in overtime.
Magic number 19, and Endpoint already start their journey there. Thomas and Imi, 2 nice picks with the M4 and the AWP. 3 on 5 already ensues. It's well favourable to the Endpoint CT side. They start things off. They had a great start in the second half. If they can get 3 rounds, and I have a feeling they may be able to take it all the way to a 2-0. Boaster starts to peek up, looking for Imi. Spots him in a gap and a smoke and does shut him down. Orp versus Orp on the T side win it. 60 seconds left on the clock now as the T side make their way into the short area. Truck side, Windansky trying to spot out Thomas, a small single gap. Trying to exploit that small area. Thomas also anticipates Weber being up here, or just players moving out towards the general apps area. Molotov down, does force Thomas away, and here we go, back to a 3 versus 3. Alex got a second AWP, picked it up off Imi, connects a shot on towards Weber and Windansky. And now it's just Boaster left again to try and see what he can do with his orb. Close range, gets a leg on Stan, but unable to do a whole lot more than that. Close range, no cigar, 16-15, Endpoint take the first round.
I mean, he could have gotten the no-scope there. He definitely could have gotten the no-scope, but now with that leg in, of course, that 3 versus 1 still goes in favor of Team Endpoint, 15-16. Again, we're seeing them come out on top here for, well, I'd say for, I think this is the second time we're seeing them come out on top. I mean, Team Endpoint, they've been pretty much on this sort of back foot throughout the entirety of this second map. They've been trying to gain the advantage, but it was just simply not meant to be. exceL Esports were pretty much leading throughout the entirety of this second map, but now we are seeing themselves in the sort of lead, and Alex actually, I think he might have spotted out there Weber somehow. I mean, trying to go for that no-scope, it just doesn't make a lot of sense now, does it? But I guess it works out there for Alex, doesn't it?
Great opener. That's exactly what Endpoint need in this double op setup. I don't know if he spotted him, I don't know if not, but either way, it's a good shot with the AWP at close range to shut down the first man of 5-on-4 for the favour of Endpoint. A minute still left to go. And exceL are pushing in towards this A site. They have got a stack, meanwhile Endpoint ready to shut this one down. Thomas close range, Luzza in towards apps alongside Jake, and bomb on his back. And 50 seconds for the T side to set this whole thing up. Crossfires are locked. Thomas and Stan watching out. Apps, Mighty Max looking down towards the default position. And of course, they've got Imi, Orpa for the team. Flashbangs in, do blind off one player, but Thomas gets that opening kill stand there to save him right there. Takes down Windansky as well, but Boaster chimes right back. Thomas doesn't need a rifle. He just uses a USP to claim 17 for Endpoint exceL. Not looking good right now. Not a whole lot of money to buy down into it. Will be a force. But Endpoint are 1 away from taking a match point.
Yeah, I guess that's the most horrible thing on MR10K. The thing is, you lose the first round, that's not too bad, you've still got money. You end up losing the second round, this is where things get dicey. On the third round, you can still scrape a buy, but it's not going to be a good buy. Oh no, not in any stretch of the imagination. Of course, exceL Esports will be investing here. This is their last lifeline here on this first half of overtime. So of course the investment does come through. And we're seeing those AK-47s. CZ75 onto Laza. But I have to admit though, this sort of late game change here from Team Endpoint and the way they're playing their CT side has been working out beautifully. What it pretty much is that they have 2 players towards the B bomb site, but when the time is right and Alex has got the sniper rifle in his hands, he's like, okay guys, I've got a banana, you guys put 4 guys on the A bomb site, and throughout the rounds that they have been winning, this has been the, shall I say, strat winning round for them, and it has been working out. Now, things are a little bit different. No such AWP is in the hands of Alex. He is towards the B bomb site, and he's got backup in the form of Mighty Max. So this could be a hole that, well, could mean quite a lot here, I'd say, for exceL and for Team Endpoint. Either way, you could be seeing Team Endpoint establish a dominant half here, or we just could be seeing exceL Esports scraping at least 1 round here on the terrorist side, and hey, even the 1 round wouldn't be that bad. But now Windansky's gonna get taken down, and I think this is pretty much the cue now. The cue has come in. They have to go for this push, and in fact, it's sort of working out for them. Boaster and Laza getting the frags here, but somehow, Mighty Max burns 2. That's a barbecue here towards the B bomb site. B for barbecue, I suppose. Laza and Jacob, we're gonna try to hold this one off. It is gonna be difficult. They've been softened up quite a bit, you could say. And Thomas, Simi, and Stan, this is kind of doable for them, but Laza and Jacob, they're going to have to try and find frags. This is where it pretty much matters. Jacob, though, he might just get a couple, not a single one at that. Laza, though, a lot of this is riding on this clutch, and apparently it's not meant to be. It's Team Endpoint coming through, and that's a pretty decent stomp, you could say. A 3-0 lead here for Team Endpoint. I'm thinking they're going to be the ones flying the Union Jack up in Barcelona.
18-15. Oh man, this is a tough pill to swallow for exceL. That CT start that they had, they just dominated Endpoint. They need to find it now. They need to find it more than ever. Because Endpoint are a single round away from booking their place at the EU Finals in Barcelona. Representing the UK. AK's out for this final one. And Laza and Jacob in with a double AWP setup because, you know, why not? exceL have to buy down every single round, so why not make it the best damn setup you can make it? Into the default. Endpoint make their way to banana into mid. And we will look down. A lot of aggression will come through from Alex, but so far lacking the peck. Of course, it was only the opening seconds of the round. But again, this passive style, this very respectable style from both sides. Not looking to overextend. Endpoint will eventually decide to wrap up into the A bomb site. Stan will be the first man to peek. Boaster's there to shut him down. Will spray him, drop the bomb. Look for Thomas as well, trying to get that trade on through. And yes, he lines up 2 kills. It's a perfect start. Imi will fall. Mighty Max and Alex, last 2 alive for Endpoint. A 2 versus 4 clutch. A good Molotov burning away. And Alex is trying to take down Boaster. Indeed, he does. 2 CTs on the wraparound. Will smoke it off and look for Laza himself. He is alone. AWP locking out the crossfire. Molotov will burn away. 8 HP. He's going to fall. Alex gets a kill. It's a 2 versus 2, and the bomb has been picked up by Mighty Max. And the bomb to get planted. Jacob and Windansky, so much riding on this one. Got to get this round. Endpoint are 1 away as the bomb crosses. It will get planted. Retake now. 2 versus 2. Jacob peeking in alongside Windansky, picking up an AK. Molotov down towards Pitman. Mighty Max is watching this cross, waiting right here. Alex is spotted. He sprays down 1. It's all Jacob to clutch it out. Endpoint are going to Barcelona after a huge comeback, after such a great start from exceL.